So if you guys haven't been living under a rock, you probably have seen on social media people talking about how they've built wealth through owning multiple forms of assets, and one of them being real estate. So if you guys stick through this whole video, I'll be explaining how all millionaires invest in real estate, why they invest in real estate, and how 90% of millionaires became a millionaire through real estate. So the first one is historical appreciation of real estate. I'm gonna put up a graph that shows over many decades how real estate has appreciated and has increased so dramatically that maybe 20, 30 years ago, you may have been able to purchase property working at McDonald's. And today, home prices have skyrocketed so much that it's almost impossible to do that. While inflation is 3 to 7 or 8% or whatever, it's been crazy in the US, real estate is a hedge against that. So as money is devalued, real estate increases in value. And so if you own real estate, if you owned it 20, 30, 40 years ago, you're gonna know that you make a lot of money in just appreciation. You can buy assets or you can buy liabilities. You might be taking some small steps in the right direction, but owning real estate will definitely, over the long run, build appreciation. So that sums up number one. So number two, leveraging. You're able to get into real estate with very little money down. So if you're able to put just 3% down, 3.5% down of cash, and able to make returns on investment upwards to 7, 8, 9, 10 plus percent off of the rental income, whether it's a commercial space or a residential space. If you're young or you're just new to the game, you are able to get into a property, a multifamily property, or even a mixed use, commercial mixed use property for very little money down. If you guys need more advice and want to ask more questions about that, feel free to contact me. I'd love to answer any questions I can. And if I can, I'll direct it to the right places. There's different types of loans out there that you'd be able to apply for if you have good credit, if you have consistent income. And sometimes if you have enough cash down, you can get into a property without any credit or income. And there's debt service coverage loans. There's hard money lending. There's so many options to getting into your first property by leveraging other people's money. I promise you guys, if you guys write down right now that I will buy a property and make a space and put by what time period. So in 2 years, in 3 years, and then below it, I want you to write what you're gonna do to make that happen, right? And I promise you guys, it will happen. So truly wealthy people, millionaires, billionaires, understand this. They understand that they're able to leverage very small capital and make a high return on investment. And I'm not the type of person that tries to time the market of, oh, this year's not a good time to buy a house, that year's not a good time to buy a house. No, there's always deals out there. You can always make great offers that make sense to you. It doesn't matter what the mortgage rates is. If you guys are looking in Pennsylvania, Philadelphia, contact me and my team. We'll find you a deal. So that summarized the leveraging part of it. So moving on to number three. Number three is diversification. And real estate for the wealthy, just simply another asset that they can invest in. And you may or may not know, if you have money, you should never put it all in one basket. People who invest in stocks understand this, that putting all your money into one stock, not an index, not an ETF, not a diversified portfolio, but just one stock, is a very bad idea. Wealthy people understand that amongst stocks, amongst bonds, amongst many other assets, including gold. If you guys want to include Bitcoin, Ethereum, sure. But real estate is an important part of that diversification, and I'll list some of the reasons why. There's going to be a lot of people being born, whether it's in your city, in your state, in your country. But guess what? There's no more land being created. As more people need land and as less land is being created, maybe more houses are going to be built. Even then, there's very few cities, very few areas that homes can be built safely. There's a limited supply and the demand will always be there. So if you get into real estate, if you get into investing in real estate, you understand that real estate is a necessity. Real estate is just another great asset to add to the portfolio. A lot of billionaires, a lot of their money, hundreds of millions, if not billions of their money is in real estate. Bill Gates owns like 90% of farmland in America. I'm totally joking, that number is outrageous, but it's a lot of land he owns. So that's it for number three. Moving on to number four, and that's tax benefit. There are so many benefits to owning real estate and reducing your taxable income for the wealthy. And as you guys make more money, as you guys build businesses and grow your wealth, your personal income, your business income, you guys want to offset your income. Real estate is a great way to do that, because you're able to write off depreciation of the property. You're able to write off, if it's a rental property, all the expenses to upkeep and maintain that property. And also the interest on your mortgages, you're able to write off. That's huge for me as a landlord, because I understand owning an investment property allows me to offset my income, whether it's from real estate, whether it's from the actual property, so that I pay less in taxes. And trust me guys, I've paid a lot of taxes, so I know it sucks. Whether you guys believe paying taxes is a fair trade or not, I think having the option, having the ability to say, hey, I am able to pay less in taxes if you want to, and if you want to pay more in taxes, that's all up to you, right? But having the ability, having that in your control, that, hey, I can pay less taxes, is awesome. If you want more details, always speak to an accountant, always speak to a tax professional. That's it for number 4. Moving on to number 5, and the last but not least is cash flow and building equity. I've mentioned it briefly about profiting from rental properties, from renting it out. Many people become millionaires because of equity growth and cash flow. You have to understand the difference. Cash flow is after expenses per month, after your mortgage, what's the income of the property? That's cash flow. If per property you're making a few $100 or $1,000 or $2,000 per property, per unit, per building, whatever the case, you're cash flowing that amount. And that's money you can put back into the principal or money you can spend. Investors understand that if you guys want to retire, you want to retire early, you want to have a life of freedom, they love cash flow. They want to make sure their cash flow is able to pay for everything they want. They want to, go travel whenever they want, do whatever they want, and cash flow is the key to that. There's books dedicated to just cash flow. Now, the other side of that is also equity. So as you are paying back the principal of the loan, of the mortgage that you took out on the property, and you're paying it back as you are generating income from the property, you slowly build equity. And you can look on your mortgage statement every month and see how much equity is going back into the property. The gap between the market value of your property and what you owe on the mortgage is your equity. The key to why so many investors buy so many rental properties, they get cash flow, and on top of that, every month, they're paying down a principal. So they're not only profiting on top and using whatever money is on top of the mortgage, cash flow. Not only are they cash flowing on the property, but they're also building equity at the same time. Most people who own real estate and who focus on purchasing real estate over time versus someone who just rents, why there's a wealth gap. So people maybe 50, 100 years ago who have grandpas, great grandfathers who lived in America, who bought properties, owned land, and as they pass down that land, those properties, leading up to now, that's why you see so many people complain about wealth gap, because historically, there's been inequalities of who can own property, who can own land. That's why real estate is always brought up when they're talking about wealth gaps. And so if you guys want to be on the side of the people who have created wealth and generate wealth for their family and generations to come, make sure you guys understand all these 5 things. So to summarize, number 1 is historical appreciation. Number 2 is being able to get into a property for very little money down, also known as leveraging. Number 3 is diversification, knowing that your money's safe amongst many assets, including real estate. Number 4 is that you're able to offset, using real estate, offset taxes, your taxable income. And number 5 is cash flow and building equity. I think I've said enough, guys. If you guys have learned anything in this video, make sure to like, comment, and click subscribe for more videos.